And welcome back
Oh my
to
gosh.
the Michael and Ellis show. Survivor season 47, episode 11. It rhymes there.
Oh my
Season 40
gosh, you're such a
several.
poet.
Um
Several.
yeah, we are filming this the day before episode 12 is coming out. Um
Yes,
approaching
happy
final.
holidays, everyone. Hope you all had a great
Yeah.
respite Thanksgiving. Hence why we're
Yeah.
so late with this. I only watched the
Yeah.
episode yesterday. So,
Mhm.
um,
Um yeah, season 47 approaching final 7. Uh
mhm.
Gabe went home the previous episode. They get to camp. Sue is blindsided, and
Not included in the vote.
yeah, she's locked in on Kyle as she has been since episode 2. Um,
More now so than ever.
mm-hmm,
Because she blames
yeah,
Kyle for Gabe going home.
and Underdog Alliance forms. It was not a red herring as we potentially were theorizing. God damn, my laptop is lifting off, and I don't want it to be picked up in the audio, but I think that is impossible. Um,
Her-
yeah, there's a lot of strategy talk in the first half of the episode, and then we get to the
A
everyone's
lot
talking
of
about how like
backstory stuff this episode. A lot
yeah,
of people having it really dove into I think it dove into Genevieve. There was a little bit of
there's a little bit
Sue,
Andy and
Andy.
Sue,
Andy took
yeah,
up most of it.
but well, let's do it. I'll try and get a quick
Mhm.
recap of before we go into the real details.
Yeah.
Um, there's an advantage opportunity that Rachel ended up getting. She stole it from Sam and Genevieve, and it was this cool like saw thing. She gets to block a vote uh, advantage, and we basically just head into the immunity challenge after that. It was a tight race, but Rachel ends up taking it out just before Kyle. I think there's a little bit of editing magic there to make Kyle look a little bit closer than he really was, but nonetheless, Rachel comes out on top, and we get to tribal, and it's basically just Kyle. Like there was some like, oh, maybe they'll decide to get out Genevieve over Kyle.
Yeah, Andy pushes for Genevieve pretty hard. So you go into tribal wondering if the original plan to stick with Kyle is. There's also, Genevieve and Sam did their own thing in the corner where they were like
Yeah,
also trying to plan something of getting rid of possibly Andy or Sue, but that never came to. But
yeah.
then we do get to tribal
But yeah, I don't know,
and Kyle is
Michael.
sent.
Michael, what did you think of this episode? Because for the listeners, I may have accidentally spoiled the boot for him this week. My mom may have also done the same by accident. So
It was just little hints. No one outright spoiled
no
it for
blatant
me.
spoiling.
No blatant spoil it. But I have to say, I did like this episode. I thought it was nice to get to know the contestants a bit more. I feel like I don't know. It was like Andy annoys me, so whatever. And I swear to God, if there's one more thing about like his like master plan web like confessional, I'm gonna lose my mind because it's been like the past like 4 episodes now. Andy has been sitting here being like, "I'm a mastermind and I'm so brave and amazing," and it's just so ugh. But
Hmm.
it was
But you still like the episode.
I still like the episode. I thought it was, Genevieve's storyline is getting to be like interesting where yeah,
Hmm.
like apparently the Keyshawn vote hit her a lot harder than
Yeah.
we thought, and she changed her game kind of completely based
Hmm.
from that. And I think it's kind of screwing her over because now she's like has no connections to anyone um to avoid having that like betrayal. But I think it was done well, especially because it was kind of obvious that Kyle was going home. I really wish we did get to see something about why he voted Teeny, or someone putting Teeny's name
Hmm.
out, because
Yeah.
maybe like Kyle was throwing like a Hail Mary or something, but like I'm interested to know what plan Kyle thought was going to happen that would like
There,
keep him safe.
I listened to his exit interviews, so I do have some clarifying
Mhm.
details that I can give.
Yeah.
Um, but before I get to that, I guess and I think it'll be easy for some people to say this is just because Kyle went home, but initially off the bat, I didn't really enjoy this episode. I
Mm,
felt like the first half was very strategy heavy of things we've kind of already heard. Like you said, Andy is just repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Um, I thought the thing I enjoyed the most about the episode was Genevieve's confessional about becoming a villain and how she doesn't want to be the villain backstabbing. She's like trying to stay away from forming these emotional bonds because she doesn't want to have to feel the pain of like breaking them. I thought that was very interesting and like the best part of the episode. But like I don't know, it just the first half came off very strategy and like advantage heavy. I thought the Rachel on the second watch with you, I thought the Rachel the advantage challenge was good, but I don't know, it seems over edited. Um,
mhm.
like I felt like they tried to make it look like she wasn't gonna do it, but the whole time I was kind of just like she's gonna do it. Like I think the problem with me is a lot of the shots were too up close, so I couldn't see like both of them at the like the rope and the like her
Mm,
progress in the puzzle at the same time. So like
yeah,
it seemed intense, but I was like, but this could all just be like manufactured. Like I need to see both of
agree.
them at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. That's my thing. Um, I also I have a I have like a theory, a
Mhm.
backseat strategy
Yeah.
proposal that I'd want to pitch to you later on to see your thoughts.
Mhm.
But this
So
the
you weren't a
kind
big fan of this episode.
I yeah I just wish we saw there was a deleted scene of Sue with Christmas trees that I think you would have like really loved.
Oh my
Um,
god, Sue with Christmas trees. I'm
she she literally was making her own Christmas tree because it like makes her feel better.
See, I would love to have that instead of Andy's like consistent plotting all of the time.
Yeah, no, literally. Um, and yeah, no, I texted with Beck like immediately after the episode, and they did kind of agree with some of my sentiments. So I'm not saying this just because Kyle went home because Kyle wasn't even
No,
really
yeah.
my like most favorite player. My like that would be like Teeny Soul. Who would be my third? I don't really know. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, or anyways, I'll come back to the Kyle um interviews because that's what you were asking about.
Mhm.
Um, Kyle, there's a few things he clarified the like Rome drama about Rome's like cryptic like uh
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
that was basically just what Andy told Sue in the episode about Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Um,
Pff,
which
okay.
like it's just like, dude, hold up, like made it seem like it was a much bigger thing than what it really
Yeah.
was. Which was kind of like, what the hell? Um, and yeah, I think a lot of that drama is just like overblown. The thing with Teeny, the way he said it, um, apparently Teeny goes around and talks a lot. They like to gossip, from what Kyle
Mm.
said. So, uh, Kyle says he threw out the. I can't remember if he said it was the Tweedledee and Tweedledum thing that he threw out to see. I think he might have threw that out a second. It's confusing because I think he's the Tweedledee and Tweedledum thing with Rome's conversation. Oh, actually, this is an interesting thing. He
Mm.
Kyle thought he was gonna be really close to Rome, because they went on a journey together earlier on in the season, and Rome ended up getting his like extra vote. Kyle lost his vote. The next challenge, they both go swimming out. Remember when Rome was like, "I need to go first," and Sol was like, "Okay, fine."
Mhm.
Like he was insisting on it, and then
Yeah.
Kyle still gets there first. But they both were there kind of by themselves. They talked to each other. Um, Found out that Rome had Kyle knew that Rome had got an advantage, and Kyle told Rome that he lost his thing. So Kyle coming into the merge was like, okay, I'm gonna work with Rome. This will be awesome.
Oh, that's so interesting. And then Rome was just like, "I'm gonna blow this up."
Immediately, just yeah, like he. That's why Kyle was like telling Rome literally everything.
Oh
Um,
my okay, that makes more sense.
and then when Rome starts immediately telling everybody about what Kyle said, that's why Kyle was like, this dude's an asshole. What the fuck is he doing? Um, and so yeah, that's a little like now that we have that clarity, that's a little interesting.
Mhm.
Um, but I think Kyle's like last plan was to basically try and highlight how Teeny is really not trustworthy and kind of talking to everyone. Like I think he tried to throw something out there, and then he told something to Teeny, and then Caroline came to Kyle like 10 minutes later with like the exact things he just told Teeny, and he tried to use that as like a last second like guys we need to get rid of Teeny, you can't
Mm,
trust them. Um, but I think ultimately everyone just decided to go with the Kyle vote. Um,
yeah.
it's interesting to see why Andy still voted for Genevieve. Um,
Maybe in case of, like, an idol play or something?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Um, but that kind of takes me to my pitch. Or I guess I
Mhm.
have kind of two things. So, Michael, if you have any questions or things we missed about the episode, maybe earlier on, I'd be excited to hear your thoughts. I went on a very
Oh.
long rant there. I didn't really mean to.
No, I think it's really interesting, that we have, like, different perspectives on, like, the episode and everything. I did wonder I did wonder, I was like, "Man, so maybe getting rid of Gabe was not Kyle's best move, because clearly it did not work out for him because he was
Mm-hmm.
immediately taken out next." Um,
Yeah.
so that's one thing that I was, like, thinking about. I was like, "Well, shit, maybe he should have tried to keep Gabe," but, would've, should've, could've, and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I thought it was good. But I'd love to hear your proposition of what is this I'm on the edge of my seat. I have to know.
Okay, okay. I'm playing a little bit of. I'm trying to realize I'm playing it both sides here. But
Mhm.
Fishy went to Rachel.
That makes sense.
Yeah, she got an advantage. She won the individual immunity. She got out Kyle. Like,
Yeah.
boom, great.
Well, I wouldn't count her as getting Kyle out. I feel like she
That
was more in the
is
Genevieve camp.
that is true, and I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Um, because there was a deleted scene that showed Sam and Rachel being much more like I'm happy to vote out Kyle. Like he is the biggest threat. Which now that I'm starting to think about it, I wonder how much of the players' confessionals are actual genuine like feelings, or if they're trying to. All of the confessionals are now starting to turn into these disingenuine. They're all trying to like be the winner at it themselves. They're always trying to build themselves up and like, oh yeah, I
Mhm.
wanted Kyle going home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they're trying to add more to their resume that they didn't actually do.
And it's not even for game wise, it's just like for screen, like they're trying because they're like conscious that this will be edited, they want to make themselves look good.
Ugh, that's
um
kinda lame.
which is really interesting, yeah. But they didn't show that. They
Mhm.
showed Rachel and Sam being the main, like, they came to Teeny to try and pitch even like a possible Andy Sue move.
Do you mean Genevieve and Sam?
Yes. Or wait. Yes, Genevieve and Sam did that. And
Yeah.
then Rachel and Sam pitched the Genevieve vote. Or Andy and
Andy and Rachel pitched the Genevieve vote.
Andy
Rachel and
and
Sam aren't really working together anymore. Or at least I don't think it
right.
showed them talk at all last episode. I think they're on very different sides at this point.
Mm,
Rachel's
right,
working
okay.
more with Andy, and then Sam's working more with Genevieve at
Yes.
this current point.
There wasn't but wasn't Rachel pitching for Genevieve at one point?
Yes, yes, she was
Okay.
with Andy. Her and Andy were
Right,
talking
okay.
to Teeny and possibly Caroline, and I think they were trying to convince them that Genevieve was a bigger threat. But I think like Andy was very, very much wanted Genevieve, I think more than Rachel. Rachel was more in the camp like I would prefer it, but like she did say in a confessional, as long as Kyle, Genevieve, and Sam go home, she doesn't care what order it's in.
Mhm.
Um, and I think
Ye-
Andy, especially with Genevieve throwing his name out, I think Andy was the more
mhm.
strong hold towards Genevieve.
Here's my thing. I think Rachel should have wanted to get Genevieve out this episode
Mhm.
because Kyle is like the ultimate shield. You will always be able to throw him under the bus and get him out.
Yeah,
And if I'm Rachel, I think I can beat Kyle at the end. So I'm fine leaving him in this game. I would rather
yeah,
get non threats out that will be taking up spots at the end.
mhm,
Um, because that's like one less spot for me, basically. I
yeah,
don't want people to have options with those lesser targets.
mhm,
Um, and I think it's interesting they showed Rachel pushing for Genevieve and not Kyle, because it almost kind of framed this. We saw Teeny just shutting down the any kind of Andy or Sue vote, and Teeny was like the loudest voice for Kyle. It really felt like Teeny was the
Teeny shut down
one.
everything.
Teeny shut down everything, and they locked up this Kyle vote.
Mhm.
So in a weird sense, Teeny was kind of the main person that can claim it's like it is the easy vote, but Teeny was kind of the one that was like, all of you bitches get in line, we are voting the easy vote.
Yeah, which is
um
so different from how Teeny has been playing, where
yes.
she's very usually dragged into something, but they finally kind of
Hmm.
took control and was like, "We are getting Kyle out."
Absolutely. So that's my first thought. You could make I tried to make the argument in a YouTube comment that the fishy should go to Teeny instead of instead of Rachel.
Well, I don't know about all of that, um, because you could say like, because I mean, you could say like the same thing for Sue. Like, Sue was also a huge person who was like I think it's the fact that Sue and Teeny, 2 out of 8 people, were so determined to get Kyle out that
Hmm.
no one really felt and no one felt compelled to save him, that it was just like, "Okay."
Hmm.
Because you have 2 pretty strong, like, social players both being like, "We" and they're kind of usually on opposite sides, I feel. So
Right.
like I don't think I've seen a single interaction between Teeny and Sue at all during this game,
Right.
besides the Underdogs Alliance, but that's like a different thing.
Okay.
Um,
Well, let me give you this pitch. How do we say
mhm.
how could have Kyle been saved this episode? Are you ready for this?
Oh, do you have a pitch for how Kyle could be saved?
I have a pitch with numbers of voting breakdowns.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, let's lay it on.
Because I will say, while I was watching the episode, still unsure if it was going to be Kyle. Um,
Mhm.
it almost looked like it was set up to be a tie right down the middle of like Sue, Sue, Teeny, Caroline, Genevieve voting for Kyle, and then a potential Andy, Sam, Rachel, um, Andy, Sam, Andy, Sam, Rachel, and Kyle voting for Genevieve because they were all kind of the main people. I
Yeah.
mean, Sam seemed a little bit. Maybe Sam was because Sam went to Teeny. It's like we can't do this vote without you. We need you to vote out Genevieve.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
I'm
no, he
like,
didn't say Genevieve. He said, didn't he say Sue or Andy? Those were the two.
um,
Or are you
I
talking
thought
about
he
something
was.
else?
I think at some point Sam was pitching Genevieve. I feel like.
I don't think
Um,
last episode he was. They were working really closely together last episode.
all right. Well, the point is
Hmm.
this theory, and I don't know if it's been done in Survivor. I think it must have been done at some point in Survivor history. I don't know if it's been done intentionally. It's a tie vote split between four. Like it's down the middle. Both sides are tied, right?
Hmm.
Strategy is fracture up this voting block so that it's potentially 3-1 or 2-2, right?
Hmm.
Sam and Andy or Rachel or whoever is on this Genevieve side goes to Genevieve and is like, listen, you and us four can all vote out, like, let's say Teeny or Caroline or Sue. I don't know, whatever pitch you want to make that they're one of the threats that you want to get out. And we can get out Kyle later. We can get out, um, whatever. We'll have the numbers after. You get Genevieve on to vote out Sue, Teeny, or Caroline. Let's just say Teeny, since Kyle
Hmm.
voted for Teeny. You convince Teeny there's a move, there's a real plan to vote out Teeny. And maybe this is the pitch Kyle should have been giving. He pitched to Genevieve, let's get out Teeny. Now, that voter block voting for Kyle has been pushed down from 4 to 3. Genevieve is off on her own on its own island with the one. Of
Hmm.
four people are now the majority. Sam, Rachel, Kyle, Andy could all vote out Genevieve with only 4 now. They don't need the majority of 5.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's too complicated with like when you're starving, or maybe there's not enough time with only 26 days,
I mean,
or
you just gotta make sure everyone is on the same page where it's like, okay, we're gonna tell Genevieve that we're voting Teeny and then like lie.
yeah.
Uh,
So it's definitely a risky move.
yeah, but like, would she have bought it? I don't know. Um,
I think
but it definitely is a
yeah.
possibility of like a way Kyle could have stayed. I honestly think Kyle's only way to like stay really was like immunity. I feel like the lines were so clearly drawn this
Mhm.
episode between like Kyle, Sam, and Genevieve, and then the underdog
Mhm.
alliance. Um, though I will say like cracks are already forming in like the underdogs alliance because they can't really decide who they actually want
Mhm.
out. Um,
The only thing I could add there is though, like you're saying, like Kyle, Sam, and Genevieve are these like perceived threats.
mhm.
Should Rachel think of working with them? Because now that Kyle's gone, Genevieve could easily go next, but it's starting to be like Rachel's gonna be put into that new 3 of biggest threats. She just went over, got this advantage. She just won immunity. She had the big thing with right before jury where Saul gave her the advantage and she just got out of there. Like her name was coming
Yeah,
up a ton and she was able to kind of get back into like lower her threat level,
yeah,
but she's kind of rising back up now. Potentially might be the main target coming up here. If we want to get to predictions for the
yeah.
next episode.
No, I mean, I think it would be smart to look at Rachel, but she's in such a good position that it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like I don't even know how you would tackle it, like an idol and a block a vote in
Yeah,
the final 7. I
and
mean,
nobody even knows that.
yeah, she's kind of, like, untouchable. I
She's
feel
kind of
like
like
it's, like, very
Rome at the early.
yeah, but, like, in a much better spot. Um, so I really don't think there's any way that she doesn't make the finale unless she fucks up so unbelievably terribly. So, um, but speaking of predictions, on the next time
Yeah.
on,
Okay.
I'm so excited,
Mhm.
because I don't know if you remember, but on the next time on, it shows Genevieve and Sam working together, doing something with idols and making fake idols, and
Mhm.
so because we know so here's what I'm thinking. Okay,
Okay.
this is my little
Okay.
pitch that I think would be so interesting.
Let's
If
hear it.
Sam uses his old idol, uh,
Oh, a
his
double
old
fake
fake
idol
idol.
play?
Yeah, and then Genevieve makes a fake idol,
Oh.
and they tell everyone that they both have idols, causing the underdogs to turn on each other,
Oh my god, that would be
thinking
amazing.
so that's what I'm thinking. So I'm so excited for that. I think it may happen because it shows on the next time Genevieve making a fake idol. We know Sam already has one. Um,
That would be so
so
heroes versus villains coded. Parvati literally like at one point in the season she's like, "All right, Sandra, I'm gonna give this to you," and I think it was Danielle is like, "One more to you," and like, oh, that was so iconic. And if Genevieve does that with fake idols, like she's already been compared as like the Kim Spradlin Parvati 2.0, would literally
I
be like a whole other thing.
and there's a confessional of Genevieve saying that if we pull this off, it'll be
Oh,
insane.
I hope you're
So
right.
I think I think it's definitely going to be insane next time. I'm so excited for it because you have two strong players with their backs against the wall.
Hmm.
The lines are like so clearly divided.
Hmm.
Um, and I can only hope that this somehow leads to Andy going home. Um,
Honestly, I could see it.
like
I could see it.
if Sue has an idol, and let's say everyone believes Sam and Genevieve have idols, and Rachel has an idol,
Uh-huh.
we got three people left. And with Sam and Genevieve both so wanting Andy out of the game,
Yes.
possible. So my prediction's gonna be Andy. I think Andy's going home next. I really
Wow, interesting prediction. That reminded me we
um
haven't done the fantasy rankings yet.
oh yes, how is that?
Um Christina has overtaken you, Michael.
I'm
They were
gonna
ahead of you by
cry.
1 point until the fishy came in. So now they're ahead of you by a total of 6 points now.
Shit. Well,
Yeah.
down down I
has
go.
Nina has fallen even more. Molly has overtaken Nina. Emily has re-leapfrogged me, so now I'm still in the same ranking as I was last week, but I passed Nina, but was overtaken by Emily. So I'm a little bit dead in the water right now. It's not looking good. And honestly, I think it's literally between you or Christina. If I don't know, we'll see. But Christina's the big front runner right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I guess for my prediction, uh, um, I really like your theory. We're at 29 minutes right now, so we'll see if we try
Yeah.
to get this under a sub 30. Um,
Mhm, mhm.
crap. I mean, I think I'm just gonna throw a random one out there again. I'm going back to Caroline. That's right, Beck. I think Caroline's going home, but
I
maybe
really
Genevieve goes
feel
home. I don't really.
girl, I can't with you. Take a
Oh
shot every time
God.
Ellis has suggested Genevieve or Caroline, and you'll die. I guarantee it.
Hmm.
But no, that's so interesting. Why do you think Caroline? Is it just your gut, or is there
I
like
don't know. I don't want to say the same thing as you. Not like just for like for the sake of the pod, we have different
Hmm.
takes. Um, I guess the sub 30 might not happen. So let me give me a second. Give me a second to think. Let me look at the fantasy. Let me look at. I'll open the fantasy rankings to see everyone.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to predict Genevieve again. I hope you're right, and I hope Genevieve can last past these fake idols. Like, these fake idols let her survive another day.
Yeah.
Um, so like logically, I would just say Genevieve, but if it's not gonna be Genevieve, then I will say, uh, I don't know. I think Caroline has just had a strange edit. Um,
Yeah.
like her and Teeny are kind of in the same boat, but Teeny just seems like a little bit. Their story is just a little bit stronger. Um, they feel like they've had a little bit more screen time. So like I feel like if I'm gonna go with one of them surviving over the other, I would go with Caroline over Teeny. Um, because I do feel like there's a real world where Teeny went home last episode. If Kyle's plan was successful,
Yeah.
um, it ironically could have been Teeny, which would have like destroyed my my fantasy team. So maybe it's a good thing Kyle went home for my sake.
Yeah, I also have a theory that I think Genevieve and Teeny are still working together. Um,
Interesting.
that that's also like a working theory that I
I
kind
think
of
I think they're like
have.
working together, but it's like a like marriage that's like on the rocks, and like Genevieve is like sleeping on the couch right now. Like,
Yeah, I I don't know because there was also that clip of last episode of them literally being on a hammock together, like just like talking. So I think like,
yeah,
and I don't know, Teeny keeps bringing up like this vendetta she has against Genevieve to like other people, but a part of me is also like, I don't know if they like talked and they're like, we could work together and no one would even know about it. It's kind of smart.
I
Um,
I think
I think they're
Teeny
trying to keep each other in like long as they can.
I think that's a way to frame it from Genevieve's perspective. I think Teeny wants to keep Genevieve as long as they can until they take out Genevieve and really own it as their own move. And that's why I think Teeny was very against voting out Genevieve this past episode, because it would have been seen as like Rachel's move or Andy's move or like just
Yeah.
somebody else's move. And that's why they were like locking it down. You guys cannot vote out Genevieve this episode. Genevieve goes home when I say Genevieve goes home. So, yeah, like Teeny's doing the one thing that I can't do, and that is saying when Genevieve goes home. So yeah, I
One
don't know.
good. But I do agree. Caroline is an interesting prospect because it's like it is the final seven, and you do have to consider the fact that her and Sue are so closely aligned they're a voting block basically.
Well,
Um,
maybe Sue might be working with Rachel now. Sue might be
yeah,
hopping on the Rachel ship now.
Sue seems to be hopping on the Rachel ship. I mean, Sue. It seems to be Sue, Rachel, and Caroline have started this kind of three
Hmm.
person thing, or it is what it seems to be edited as. There was a lot of convos with the three of them specifically.
Hmm.
Um,
That is true.
so I guess we'll see.
Guess we'll see. Yeah, and with that, thank you everyone for watching. We unfortunately could not get a guest on this episode because uh Michael saw the episode late, which is not. I mean, you couldn't really have a way to see it while you were gone, and
Yeah.
I was being disorganized. I was busy with work. We'll do better. We promise.
Yeah, we'll get a guest. I promise we have friends.
Yeah, yeah. This whole show is just like we're not doing it for any other reason but to prove that we have friends.
Exactly. Exactly.
And with that,
And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe.
yeah, you losers. Who are
You
I see
fucking
all of you.
loser.
I see all of you watching our video and not liking or subscribing.
Yeah, you
Just
guys.
do it. Do
Just do
it.
it. As Shia LaBeouf once said,
I'm
just
pointing
do
at you.
it. God,
All
I'm
right.
scared.
See you guys tomorrow on the episode.